In the secluded villages of the Irish countryside and the misty highlands of Scotland, where folklore and superstition intertwine with the everyday lives of the people, a chilling legend has persisted through the centuries. It is the story of the Changeling child, a tale of defy, mischief, and the dark bargains made with otherworldly beings. The Changeling myth speaks of fairies who, with their trickery and malice, would steal human babies and replace them with their own. These defy children, known as changelings, were often described as sickly and strange, exhibiting odd behaviors and having an unnatural air about them. The motive behind these sinister swaps was as varied as the stories themselves, ranging from a desire for a healthy human child to mere malevolent amusement. One haunting tale centers around a small, isolated cottage in the village of Dunmore, nestled deep within the rolling hills of Ireland. The cottage belonged to the O'Connell family, who were known throughout the village for their kindness and hard work. Patrick and Fiona O'Connell had recently welcomed their firstborn, a beautiful baby girl named Eilish, who was the light of their lives. Eilish was a healthy and happy baby, and the village rejoiced with the O'Connells at her arrival. But as the months passed, strange things began to happen. Eilish, once a thriving and joyful child, started to exhibit troubling symptoms. She became lethargic and feverish, her laughter replaced by unsettling cries. Her once bright eyes grew dull, and she seemed to have a faraway, almost vacant look. Worried for their daughter, Patrick and Fiona sought the help of the village healer, an elderly woman named Old Maeve. Maeve had lived through many winters and knew the old stories well. Upon examining Eilish, she grew silent, her face drawn with concern. "Your child," Maeve said, her voice trembling, "may not be what she seems. There are tales of fairies who take human babies and leave their own in return. It is said that such a child will grow ill and show signs that are not of this world." Frightened and desperate, Patrick and Fiona listened to Maeve's advice. They remembered the old customs and rituals designed to ward off fairies, though they had never believed in such things before. Under Maeve's guidance, they performed a series of ancient rites meant to protect their home and their child from fairy harm. One night, as a storm raged outside and the wind howled through the trees, Patrick and Fiona kept a vigil by Eilish's cradle. They burned protective herbs and recited incantations, hoping to drive away any fairy presence. The air grew heavy with tension, and the storm outside seemed to echo the turmoil within. At the stroke of midnight, when the storm was at its peak, a strange thing happened. Eilish's cries grew louder, more insistent, as though something was trying to force its way into their world. Suddenly, there was a flash of light and a gust of wind, and the room was filled with an eerie, otherworldly chill. The parents watched in horror as the figure of a small, sickly child appeared beside Eilish's cradle, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The changeling looked up at them with a sorrowful expression, as if pleading for something they could not understand. With a soft, mournful wail, the creature vanished into the darkness, leaving behind a sense of profound sadness. The next morning, Eilish's health began to improve. She regained her vitality, her eyes shining once more with the sparkle of life. Patrick and Fiona were relieved, but remained haunted by the encounter. They never spoke of it again, but the story of that stormy night became a quiet legend in the village, a chilling reminder of the fairy realm's hidden dangers. In the years that followed, the tale of the changeling child became a cautionary story, passed down through generations as a reminder of the fragility of life and the mysterious forces that might lurk just beyond the veil of the known world. The O'Connell family lived in peace, their hearts forever touched by the supernatural encounter they had survived. The changeling myth remains a powerful part of Celtic folklore, a haunting narrative that explores the boundaries between the human and the fairy world. It serves as a reminder that sometimes The greatest fears are not those we can see, but those that dwell in the shadowed corners of our imagination.